Hi YouTubers out there. It's Fortune Cookie 45LC coming to you today with a topic of the 41 Magnum. Now the 41 Magnum is a caliber that not too many people think about. Everyone thinks about the 357 Magnum and the 44 Magnum. 357 Magnum was developed in 1935 to allow law enforcement to shoot into car bodies. And the 44 Magnum was developed by Elmer Keith, urging the companies to produce the 44 Magnum in 1955. Smith & Wesson and Ruger came out with pistols in 1955 for the 44 Magnum. But the problem was law enforcement in those days, there weren't any jacketed hollow point bullets, so the 38 Special was viewed as being an anemic cartridge for law enforcement, and the 44 Magnum was too powerful. The 357 Magnum was not that effective with lead bullets. So something else was needed. And Elmer Keith came up with the idea of a 41 Magnum. Heavier, bigger bullet than the 38, not as powerful as a 44. So the 41 Magnum was developed in 1964, is when the first pistols came out. But even in those days, here's Gun Digest 1965. And in those days, the 41 Magnum was brand new. So here's an article. The 41 Magnum, who needs it? Well, law enforcement was supposed to use a load that was around 850 to 900 feet per second, and there was also a Magnum load at 1450 for the people who wanted to use a 41 for hunting. So it'd be a very good caliber for law enforcement and also hunters. But the problem was the factories came out with the police load at 1200 feet per second, which is too powerful. It was too hard to train officers to shoot the lower power load, which is still too powerful. So it kind of destroyed the idea for law enforcement. But here is Officer George Carello of Rhode Island, Cranston, Rhode Island, back in 1965, was the first officer to shoot the Smith & Wesson 41 Magnum. I wonder where Officer Carello is now. He must be in his 80s. But the 41 Magnum lives all the way till today. You can buy a Ruger Blackhawk or a Smith & Wesson Classic Series, either the Model 57 or Model 58 in 41 Magnum. And Ruger makes a very fine Blackhawk in 41 Magnum. And it's available from Davidson's Guns, Gallery of Guns. But here, for your perusal, are two 41 Magnums. One is a vintage Smith & Wesson Model 57. Let you look at that. Fine pistol. Smith & Wesson end frame. Wide target hammer, wide target trigger. Fine sights. Smooth single and double action trigger pull. This one has a 6-inch barrel. Original stocks. These are the Smith & Wesson Magna stocks. And it is the pinned barrel, which means that this was purchased in 1979. And the pinned barrels were done away with in 1982. So this is an actual Model 57, not a 57-1 or 2 or the other iterations. It's the original Model 57. So perhaps this pistol has some collector's value. At any rate, and in those days, it came in a nice presentation wooden case. And I've kept that case all these years. Notice that the inside has not deteriorated in all these years, and that's because we kept it in a moisture-free environment. Moisture destroys the styrofoam, and oil does the same thing. But here is the pistol, sitting in its original oil paper wrapper. Think it has collector's value? Maybe. But I've been shooting this pistol. The pistol will shoot 41 Magnum ammunition like this. Now this happens to be 210 grain gold dot bullets loaded in Spear nickel cases, and is loaded by the Bitterroot Valley Ammunition Company, sold by Cheaper Than Dirt. But I just want you to see the quality of this ammunition. Very uniform. Overall length, crimp, primer seating depth. It's factory ammunition. Quality factory ammunition. But the kicker is that a box of 50 of these 41 full Magnum 1500 feet per second loads out of my Smith & Wesson chronographed. A box of 50 of these, $27 from Cheaper Than Dirt. Now go ahead and check the catalogs. You'll find that some of the other companies that are manufacturing 41 Magnum ammunition, it's like $32 for 20. How does $27 for 50 for ammunition that's every bit as good? It'll shoot 2 inches at 25 yards from a rest without any trouble. And they're really blasters. Full Magnums. That's a value you can't pass up. If you own a 41 Magnum, you gotta try this. Brand new nickel cases. Spear 210 grain gold dot bullets. Anyway, here's another load from Cheaper Than Dirt from Bitterroot Valley, and that is these 357 Magnum bear loads. 180 grain Hornady XTP bullets loaded in nickel cases. And these are powerful loads too, especially out of a lever action rifle. And 25 rounds of these go for $9.69 or something of that nature. Pretty close to that. You might want to try some of those from Cheaper Than Dirt. They're very good. But my other pistol here is the Ruger. Now you can buy a Ruger Blackhawk in 41 Magnum right away. Available from Davidson's. But how's that for a pistol? Single action. Unloaded, of course. This is a fine shooter. It's got good grips, not good sights, not as good as the Smith & Wesson, but pretty nice. It's a Bisley model, which means that the grip frame is a little bit longer, less flare, and a little bit wider up here. And it has the Bisley hammer, which is a lowered hammer spur. It's all steel pistol. And by the way, ballistol is really good for this wood because it makes the wood, makes the grain come out. It gives it a nice patina, and instead of that kind of a dull, dead look of the wood. And you can keep putting ballistol on this, and it makes it look better and better all the time. And this shoots 2-inch groups. And because the barrel is longer, the 7.5-inch barrel, it has a little more velocity, about 1550 at 25 yards. But it's very accurate 2-inch groups also. 41 Magnum. I know a lot of you shooters don't think much of the 41 Magnum, but they're very fine revolvers. Something for you to think about in case you're thinking about getting a different caliber. But give Cheaper Than Dirt a try. Very fine ammunition. This is Fortune Cookie 45 LC. Wishing you well. Take care. See you next time.